not cold.
You want cold?
Yes. My name is Glennisha Morgan. I currently live in the Bronx, not too far from Yankee Stadium, and I was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. I'm not sure if everybody specifically flocks to New York as the answer. I feel like we all have came here for different reasons. I know one, of course, is, to get out of Detroit and to try to make it elsewhere. I always wanted to move here. I was scared at first. I contemplated going to Chicago, which of course is 4 hours away, close to home. I feel like Chicago is like Neo-New York, but, a smaller version and a nice Midwestern version. But it wasn't where I really wanted to go, and I finally just had, I was like, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna come out here. I'm gonna finish school. That will kind of be like my ticket, to come out here. I was already writing for publications, and I was like, I'm gonna just come out here and do it. I'm writing, freelance writing, working on a documentary, which is about female MCs or women rappers, and I am also a photographer. My professional website is GlennishaMorgan.com. And then I also have a blog called The Fembassy, which is currently on hiatus, unfortunately. That's my blog that's also solely dedicated to women MCs. New York is pretty much the mecca and the nucleus of everything that I love and that I'm passionate about. I love music, and my most favorite music venue is SOB's on Varick Street, which I have seen some of the best shows there. It's a very intimate venue. In Bryant Park, I love to go there and write and to work. It's kind of like, in the heart of the city. You're not too far from Times Square, but you're near, but you're away from it enough to still be able to appreciate the city. I also am a huge fan of Roosevelt Island. It's one of the places that I kind of go to escape the city and, just sit by the water and to try to, take in a little bit of quiet time and get away from the craziness of New York, because it's hard to do that. Being from Detroit, and I'm sure with the news and the media, everybody knows, the great struggle and, what's unfortunately happening to the city of Detroit right now. So I felt like I had to leave. Like, as much as I love my city, it really doesn't have anything to offer for me besides my family. Don't get me wrong, I'll be honest, I have a love-hate relationship with Detroit, but I more so miss the people. I miss the, people who are down to earth, people who aren't rude. I miss being able to slow down and breathe a little bit, not having to walk so fast, not having to rush for, a train. Downtown too, downtown is always just cool. I definitely miss Coney Island. I became accustomed to going to the bodega and getting my egg and cheese in the morning, but I miss going to Coney Island and getting grits and eggs and toast for $1.99, maybe $3 or whatever, but I miss getting that hearty, quick, cheap breakfast. Even though I have a love-hate relationship with Detroit, I'm always very quick to defend the city and say, hold up, no, wait a minute. We have this and we have this and that going on. And to be honest, I always tell people who aren't natives that and I can honestly say this, that every single person who has visited Detroit that was not born and raised there, they always tell me that they had a great time. I feel like, if you truly are passionate about, for number one, if you know Detroiters, or you know the city of Detroit and you really love it and you truly do, deep down inside, have a passion for the city, cool, I welcome you, but don't come to Detroit just because it's cool or to say, yo, I lived in Detroit, you know what I mean, and whatever. I just feel like if you haven't lived there and you don't know what it's like, you really can't just jump on the bandwagon and say, oh, I heard it's this, I heard it's that.
Today they issued the death certificate by filing for bankruptcy.
The way that the media is portraying Detroit is very personal for me, for one. I guess I would say I'm going to naturally be biased because I was born and raised in Detroit, in the city. The majority of the people who report on the city of Detroit and who come and they just take advantage of, you know, the unfortunate situation, they were most likely not born and raised in Detroit, and they most likely don't live in the city. Most of what you hear is coming from people that honestly don't have any idea. You know, they go buy a cheap house, set up shop, do whatever they come to do. You know, and they just kind of, they're a part of sucking the city dry. Now the popular thing is to do this ruin art where people, you know, like I can't count how many photographers and other documentary filmmakers have flocked to the city of Detroit to go shoot abandoned houses, abandoned buildings, and, you know, and just calling it art. It's a slap in the face. It's very insulting, especially also knowing that, yes, you know, the city of Detroit is not in its the greatest place. You know, it's actually in probably some of the most worst shape that it's ever been in. But there are still beautiful things happening. There are still so much more going on than what's constantly being portrayed in the media. And no one seems to want to look at that side. Everybody wants to come and take pictures of the old train station on Michigan Avenue. You know, nobody wants to really take a look at what Detroit is. This term, desolate, comes up a lot where people will say, oh, you know, I went to Detroit, it was so desolate, it was so empty. And, you know, of course, like living in New York City, we're kind of packed like sardines and basically live on top of each other. It's a very, you know, a very highly populated city, so Detroit may not look like a big city or a big metropolis such as New York City, but there are people there. And I feel like perhaps the reason that people feel that it's so desolate and it's nothing there is because why? It's a bunch of black people. A lot of people don't know that Detroit is one of the most it is the most highly populated black city within the nation. I could be off a few numbers, but Detroit is about probably like 93, 94% black. So when you have people who aren't, number one, they aren't, you know, mostly white people and people who aren't people of color, they come to the city and say, oh, there's nothing there, there's nobody there, it's desolate. Why? Is it perhaps that because you don't see the black faces that are there? You don't see them in your regular everyday life to begin with. So of course you come to the city and you say, there's nothing there. I know that again, like there are people who are making things happen, they're finding their own ways. A lot of people are turning to entrepreneurs. You know, they're starting businesses and they're just making it happen and doing what Detroiters know how to do, and that's hustle hard. I don't know why Detroiters are here. I guess everybody came for their own reason. Well, why did you come?